Hi guys, I'm Zach from NerdWorks Media, and welcome back to Podcasting Cars yet again. so, I very briefly, because I haven't got that long to record today, but I wanted to talk about hooning and basically my stance on hooning. Um, so this includes the whole takeover things and stuff like that, but it also just includes uh, a little bit of street drifting or even down to light drag races and stuff like that. And I just wanted to share my opinions and thoughts on the whole situation. So, um, first off, I think let's start with the elephant in the room, which is takeovers. No, I do not support takeovers. I think they're a terribly dumb idea. Just no. You can't be doing donuts and stuff in the middle of an intersection. There's a whole bunch of people there. You're putting all of their lives at risk. You're putting a whole bunch of people's lives at risk who are driving with you, doing donuts with you, or just trying to pass, or whatever. It's terrible. It's screwing up the roads. A lot of the times it just ends with people being knocked or flung out of the car or into a telephone pole or something. I heavily despise and disagree with takeover events. They're not good. That shouldn't be allowed. And I agree with the whole turning away from it and blah blah blah. For example, what I'm meaning there, sorry, oh my gosh, I really need to collect my thoughts before I record these, is I know a lot of guys on TikTok, after that one big incident where there was like a big takeover and a whole bunch of people got in trouble for it and blah blah blah. I know there were a couple of people, again, it's mainly in the States that it happens. It does actually happen here, for those who don't know. But like, I know some people were complaining, oh no, the cops took away my charger, unjustified and blah blah blah. It's like, my dude, you're drifting in the middle of the street. That's reckless driving. There's your license taken away. And on top of that, if you actually bonk somebody and they go get sent to the other side of the parking lot, that's attempted manslaughter, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember the actual term that they used, but anyway, you can go to prison for a long time because of it. So my point being is, it's just, that's very dumb, and I support when the car community on TikTok actually said this is not a part of the car community. And again, I actually agree with that. It's not a part of the car community. Majority of actual car guys who modify their cars and so on and so forth don't count that as part of the car community, because all it is just a whole bunch of people with a little bit more money than brains, and they kind of just want to go flex and show off that their Dodge can do donuts or their Mustang or whatever. In this country, it's a lot of the guys, again, sorry for being biased, but it is a lot of the guys with like the E30 BMs for spinning, and they'll just go spin in the middle of the streets and stuff. No, it's hindering traffic, which is firstly irritating because somebody might need to be trying to get to like the hospital or something, and now you're blocking the way. It's not good. I completely disagree with the whole situation. I don't think there's much else that needs to be said there. I very heavily disagree. I'm sure 99.9% of my audience, if not my entire audience, agrees with me. So yeah, I'm sorry if my phone is vibrating. Let me try. I'm sorry if it's been vibrating. So I disagree with that kind of hooning. And unfortunately, when you say hooning, it does tend to lead to that kind of thoughts, if you will, for non-car people or for people who don't necessarily play and stuff. Now on to similar conditions, so drag racing, street racing, inverted commas, drifting, doing donuts, whatever, but on a more private and restricted road, even if it's not necessarily private property. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Friday video is exactly on this topic, which is what kind of brought it to mind. So if you are in the middle of nowhere, there's nobody else besides yourself and maybe whoever's there with you. There's no chance of you hurting anybody, and there's no chance of like damaging anybody else's car, because it's just you, and if you fuck up, it's your problem. That's it, final. That I'm okay with, as long as it's very much in private and out of the way of everybody. Because if it's, just down the road, but everyone can still hear you, firstly, you're going to get cops interfering with you anyway. But past that, it's still disturbing of the peace and so on and so forth. For example, where we go, it's behind a business complex. We only go there after, like on the weekends and stuff. This weekend being a long weekend, we were pretty sure nobody was there, and so on and so forth. So we felt more than fine to go screw around there, and it's not going to be disturbing anybody or upsetting anybody. I'm going to be honest with you, because the highway is kind of just there, you can see the highway from it, and we had a cop drive past us. There was no issues, because we're out in the middle of nowhere. There's like nobody that's going to come and bother us, basically, or nobody that we can endanger. And to be honest with you, we've had a couple of cops stop people there and speak to them and stuff. I mean, I remember the last time I went there, it was myself and Tyron again, just learning how to drift. I would like to learn how to control my car in a drift. So we were practicing and stuff, and a cop drove past, because at the same time there was a guy in a Mercedes A45 AMG that I'm assuming he got like a very fancy tune or whatever, and was making extra horsepower, and he was busy doing runs up and down the road. And a cop pulled up and stopped him, not actually us, because at the time we weren't doing anything, but he stopped him and he just spoke to him. And then, to be honest with you, he actually kind of played with the guy a little bit, and then the cop buggered off, and then the Mercedes landed up buggering off as well. Basically, the cops are kind of chill with you doing it there, because it's very out of the way and you're not endangering anyone, basically, in short. You might come and get told off, because, again, you're not supposed to be doing it, and it isn't your property. But it's a lot more understandable, and generally speaking, cops are actually a lot more tolerable to it, because at least you're not doing it on public streets and stuff. Again, there's that video that happened in Australia of a guy with an AE86 Torino and a S13 coupe, I believe, and they were drifting on the highway, and the footage comes from a truck driver. That, to me, is not hooning. It is a part of takeover stuff, if you ask my personal opinion. That is reckless driving. It shouldn't be allowed. You're mucking about on the roads, not okay. But again, out in the middle of nowhere, you're not going to bother anyone, I think it's okay. I'm still not in full support of it. Like, don't make it a habit. Like, don't go there every single weekend, and don't go burn all your tires there, basically. But if you go out there once every while, and you go enjoy your car, test your car, play with your car a little bit, I think that's fine. I have no issue with that. Again, if it becomes a little bit more of an everyday occurrence, then yes, it is a problem, because people have a business just down the road, and it's inconvenient and noisy and irritating for everyone that's there. But on the weekend, me. Now down to hooning in terms of just like a quick light with a guy. Maybe you get a little bit of wheel spin and stuff. Again, and this is a general consensus that I've met with a couple of guys that I've spoken to about it. We've all pretty much agreed that, like, you put your foot down, you make a little bit of noise, but you don't really want to go over the speed limit. Oh, then a BM pulls up next to you. Oh, okay, well, maybe now proper light, go for it, it's fine. That's fine. But if you or the guy opposite you wants to keep racing, again, light after light after light after light after light, blah, 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 maybe take it somewhere else. Maybe, pull over, get their number, chat about your cars and so on and so forth, and then organize a race day, the next time there's like an open day at a drag strip or whatever. It happens here as well. Free to entry and so on and so forth, or at very least it's like fucking $100. You can go there pretty cheap. So, in my honest opinion, that if it's repetitive, it's annoying and irritating, please stop. But just doing a quick light pull, I have no issue with that. To be honest with you, I've had a couple of people notice and mention to me. For example, me on the way to my girlfriend every Friday, I pretty much do a pull, every now and then along my way and so on and so forth. I'm still kind of okay with that, hence why I do it, obviously. Because I'm like, at that point, I'll do a pull to make noise, but I'm letting off at like 4,500, so my turbo, makes a big dump and so on and so forth. And it's a little bit noisy, and I get a little bit of oomph as I pull away, but I'm not doing anything properly. I mean, the last time I did something properly was there was a guy at a set of lights. Now, there was traffic in front of me and behind me and next to me. And there was a guy next to me in a Golf who was a huge fan of the car, and he was like geeking out about it a little bit, and he asked me to rev it, so I revved it for him. And then as I was revving it, the lights went green, so I was like, oh, okay, a little bit of a play is fine. So I let out the clutch, I got a little bit of wheel spin, it chirped a little bit, and then I went off, and then I let off. I mean, I barely hit 30 before I let off because there was people in front of me. That kind of stuff I'm also okay with. I want to call it like a cheap little play every now and then. I'm also fine with. I have no issue with that. Again, if it becomes a bit of a habit... Oh. Sorry about that. You'll be back in a moment. Okay. Sorry about that. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh, if it becomes a habit, then yes, that's a bit of a problem. Maybe don't make it a habit. And to be honest with you, even what I do sometimes, I'll be honest, I actually get irritated with myself. I'm like, oh shit, actually, I shouldn't have done a pull there. I'm probably irritating everyone here and so on and so forth. But again, a quick little lighter light pull, meh, I have no issues with that. I'll be irritated if somebody, for example, on the way to the hospital this morning for my gran, there was a guy in an Audi, and he was just putting his foot down at every single set of lights, and he was flying down the road every single time, and I was just like, come on, grow up a little bit, be a little bit better. But in terms of like, just you and your mates are going for like a nice cruise. I've lined up next to the bud that I've been talking about. We've got pretty even cars. Are we going to? Light goes green, you happen to. That's fine. I have no issue with that. Again, just don't make it every single light from there to the meet that you're going to, or back to your house or whatever. Don't make it like every single light, but one or two is fine, spread out and so on and so forth. I have no issue with that. And that I'd still class within hooning and so on and so forth. I don't know. Not even really sure what else to comment on. In my personal opinion, where majority of what you're doing should actually be kept for is, again, a private road out in the middle of nowhere where you're not bothering anybody, you're not going to irritate anybody, you're not going to get in anybody's way. It's just you, and you're kind of sitting there, and if you make a noise, if you crash, if you hurt yourself, it is on you. You haven't done anything to anybody else. And that, personally, where I stand is great. Okay, I'm just going to hold my phone at this point because I'm almost finished my video anyway. So personally, that's kind of where I stand on the whole situation. And that's where I feel things should be and kind of should be. Yeah. Again, small little bit on the road is fine, but yeah. Anyway, I've repeated myself enough in this conversation. Today's video was very short, but as you can see, it is sunset. So, yeah. Until next time, guys. I will see you in the next video, which will be Friday's video, which is us actually mucking about, and I learn kind of how to drift. Although everyone else kind of shows me up. It's very actually entertaining. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, cheers.